Hello and good day, everyone. Welcome. I'm Mikey with two E's. I'm also known as Metro Mikey. The two E's in my name stand for the environment and everyone, the two things that I care about most. I'm broadcasting with renewable energy from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm a business and sustainability coach, owner of an aerial arts studio, a fitness trainer, and the proud founder of a sustainable salon where I specialize in eco-friendly platinum and blonding services. Today, I also have the honor of being one of your hosts and MCs for our Green Beauty Community live productions. If you're watching from home or work, please drop your name and where you're tuning in from in the chat. And feel free to ask questions and comment anytime. I'll invite my dear friend and our other host to introduce themselves before a few pieces of quick information. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacqueline Rodriguez, and I am the Clean Beauty Business Coach. I founded the Enlightened Styles Holistic Salon, and I also am the founder of the Holistic Salon Academy, podcast host for the Green Beauty community, and my own Impactful Salon Owners podcast. And I'm excited to be here. Back to you,
Thanks,
Mikey.
Jacqueline. Thank you. Thank you. We love keeping you all updated at home. So here is our announcement before we jump in. As you know, we're in the midst of holiday season right now, and we have Giving Tuesday coming up on December 3rd. So if you are looking for a nonprofit to donate to, consider donating to the Green Beauty community, where we champion sustainability in the beauty industry by bringing immense value to platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and broadcasting these intensely helpful webinars live with lifetime replays. So before we start, we'd like to remind everyone our mission is to make the planet a better place by empowering our community, you all, and promoting innovative, sustainable practices. We're committed to using eco-friendly materials and policies, reducing our environmental impact, and fostering a culture of responsibility and positive change every day. This is our America Recycles panel today, so I have a few quick facts about the history of recycling to set us up for success, and then we'll dive right into it. So in the mid-20th century, recycling was largely absent in the beauty industry. Single-use plastic packaging became the norm due to its affordability and convenience, and little thought was given to the environmental impact. Switched to the 1970s and 80s, the rise of the environmental movement prompted some companies to explore sustainable packaging. However, the efforts were limited and not standardized. That jumped right into the 90s and early 2000s, where large beauty brands began incorporating recycled materials into their packaging. The concept of refillable packaging emerged, and programs like MAC Cosmetics Back to Mac, launched in 1994, encouraged consumers to return empty containers for recycling in exchange for free products. I came along in this beauty movement around the 2010s, which is where I started to feel like everyone was finally hearing the message, and we were starting to break ground and make progress towards a beautiful, sustainable future. So growing awareness in the global plastic crisis led to broader initiatives. Companies began collaborating with third-party organizations like Green Circle Salons, G2 Recycling, and PACT Collective to recycle hard-to-process beauty packaging. And circular economy concepts gained momentum, which emphasized reuse and repurposing of materials. So as always, I'm honored to be here with my fellow eco-warriors and esteemed guests. Today we have Marian Cardozo from G2 Recycling, Sarah Babington from Green Circle Salons, and Carly Snider from PACT Collective. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves because I know they can do a better job than I did. I'm going to start with Marian from G2 Recycling. Who are you? Which companies are you representing? And tell us a little bit about what you're doing and your mission.
Well, thank you, Mikey, and the whole Green Beauty community team for having me today. Love being part of a panel to talk about sustainability. Even more so with this amazing lineup, Carly and Pack Collective, amazing partners to G2 Revolution, and Sarah and Green Circle. Love the work that they are doing within the salon community. had the chance to meet her a couple of months ago at a conference, and it was amazing. And now, yeah, talking about what G2 does. G2 is a specialty recycler, and we've been in the industry for over 16 years now, working with manufacturers and retailers. Yes, mostly within the beauty and cosmetic industry, but not only limited to that. We work with the medical industry, grocers, coffee suppliers. So many people, many companies that are doing going the extra mile, to make their products sustainable or to think about the end life of these products. Um, about G2, I would love to highlight three aspects. First, we're a completely compliance driven company, meaning that all of our programs and all the material that enters our facility are evaluated from a compliance standpoint to make sure that our programs, the materials, and the solutions that are given later to these materials fall within federal and state regulation, which is extremely important, especially when you are working with manufacturers and retailers. Another important aspect of it all, and that we're extremely proud of, is that our production team hand source every item that comes through our facility. So, touching the material, knowing, hey, I have plastic number 2, number 4, I have 3 types of materials within one product, gives you a leverage, an excellent leverage to understand what am I receiving? What are the components? What is my current solution? And how can I take this to a higher level within the sustainability hierarchy? And I think one, third highlight about G2 is our social responsibility. That's also something very dear to our hearts. Through our partnerships and through the programs that we have with our customers, we're able to support several nonprofit organizations throughout the US. And that talks about how sustainability is about recycling, but not only about recycling. Understanding sustainability and, making that a core value of your company is so much more than only thinking about and life of a product. So extremely happy to be here to represent G2. I want to share a little bit. I started with G2 over 2 years ago, and that's how my journey within sustainability starts. My colleagues all the time say, Marian, you've lived a couple of lives. And I think I've had lived a couple of lives, but haven't we all? I come from the legal industry, and, I feel like, the first time I encountered sustainability and saw, hey, I really like this, and how can we make this better? It was because of the compliance aspect of it. How important it is to know regulation, how important it is that, hey, I'm taking hand sanitizer from California. What can I do with it? Or what can I do with this type of material to make sure that we're not only doing the environmental work, but we're doing it right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's how my story with G2 started, and I love sustainability. I really cannot wait to see all the things that we can do together in the beauty industry.
Thank you so much, Marian, and thanks for your representation of G2 Revolution. I can't wait to dive in to hear more about your sustainable mission. Now I'm going to pass it over to our friend Carly Snider from PACT Collective. Tell us a little bit about your brand and your mission and who you are.
Absolutely. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be such an exciting conversation. I think the panelists here are the best in the biz as far as recycling, cosmetic and beauty material. So it's going to be a great conversation. My name is Carly Snider. I'm the executive director at PACT Collective. And for those of you who don't know PACT, we are a nonprofit membership-based organization working to bring the beauty industry together to take responsibility for our packaging waste. And so we feel like it is extremely important to come together pre-competitively and figure out ways that we can move towards more circular solutions for our packaging. So currently, our main 2 tactics to meet this very broad and evolving mission are, first, we offer customer-facing and back-of-house programs to collect hard-to-recycle beauty material. So I know we're going to talk a lot about this, about why beauty is so difficult and what we have to do behind the scenes to make this material recyclable. But the big piece of this is that majority of the beauty packaging that we have out there that you're purchasing and selling cannot be recycled through traditional recycling mechanisms. So what we're doing is we are collecting this material, working with our partner G2 on the call to figure out how we can find the best second home possible. So through all of this, we're getting very intimate with our waste. As Marian talked about, we need to have our hands on this material. We need to collect data. We need to have a better understanding of our baseline when it comes to our packaging. So there we are collecting stories, findings, data, you name it, so that we can educate our industry on how we can make better decisions moving forward. So for us, it's really important. We're not stopping with diversion, even though that's super important to get this material out of the landfills. We want to learn from our mistakes and present those to our members so that they can create better packaging upstream in their design process. So currently we are a community of almost 150 members across the industry. This is super important for us to have a really diverse group of members. So that ranges from nonprofit partners to brands, retailers, packaging suppliers, media, you name it. If you touch beauty, we want you to be a part of these conversations and to have a seat at the table. And so a little bit about my story. I came to the team before it launched. It was on a piece of paper, the mission on one page. And so I came to the team and kind of built this program from scratch and brought it to life. And my kind of specialty and where I drive the most impact is this intersection between business and nonprofits. I think this is where we can really come together to tackle complex challenges. We can leave ego and competition at the door to really figure out ways that we can tackle complex issues. We can't do it alone. There's not one single brand that can solve this alone. I don't care if you're the biggest brand, a beauty brand out there, you can't do it. And so we are here to really cultivate that space so that we can share best practices, share failures, share whatever needs to happen so that we can get to where we need to be faster.
Thank you so much, Carly. There's a lot to unpack there, so I can't wait to get into even more information about PACT Collective. But now I want to give our final guest, Sarah Babington from Green Circle Salons, the floor. Who are you? Who do you represent? And tell us a little bit about your mission.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to do this in a little bit of a different order because I think it kind of fits. So I'm Sarah Babington. I head up our partnerships at Green Circle Salons. And I'm a wife and a very proud mom of two little boys. And I think my motherhood bleeds into everything I do. And it's definitely a really huge factor in what's pulling me and keeping me so invested and engaged in the work that I do. So I love that piece. I've been in the beauty industry for about 20 years now. And I was a makeup artist while doing my undergrad in sociology with a focus on sustainability. So looking at the social side of sustainability, like who has access to it, who doesn't, who does climate change affect, all of that type of thing. And so fast forward, you can imagine my surprise when I stumbled upon Green Circle Salons and learned that two things that I love dearly, the beauty industry and my passion for the environment, came together in this very cool way. And we joke that I sort of harassed Shane Price, who's our founder and CEO, until he brought me on board. But it didn't take long. I mean, you can't not love what we do. So I'm in January, I hit my 7-year anniversary with Green Circle. One of the things that excites me so much is just watching us do things the correct way. I have zero apprehension in talking about what we do and how we do it. We are a B Corp, which means we're upheld to a very high set of social and environmental standards. We're thoroughly vetted by various third-party companies and auditors. We're also a zero waste to landfill business. Much like Marian was saying, our waste is also hand sorted. We recently acquired 1% for the Planet certification as well, which is super fun. And again, like I have the privilege of coming to work every day and just watching these brilliant minds come up with these out of the box things. And we'll get into it a little bit more, I'm sure, as we get into the questions. But really, it's just super, super exciting, powerful, meaningful, and just I'm authentically very, very thrilled to be here and to share with you what it is that we're doing.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's great to meet all of you, and we are so thankful that you all are here. I'm going to pass it over to Jacqueline to get this panel started.
All right. I am very excited to be here. And the first question is, people in the industry seem to want to make a change, but what are some of the biggest challenges the beauty industry faces when it comes to implementing effective recycling programs? And let's start with you, Sarah, since you're there in the center.
Sure. I think it's really just about sitting down and creating a plan. So the thing that I share with salons often is I'll say, like, the days are long, but the years are short. You go through your day to day, and then a week's gone by and a month's gone by, and you still haven't implemented these initiatives that you'd like to implement. Ultimately, the earlier you get started, the more you're keeping at a landfill when it comes to recycling. And so, yeah, I would say it's really about sitting down and making a plan, like knowing what you can do locally, what your local recycling guidelines are, how you can lean into other services, other partners, other brands, and that type of thing. But really, just do it. Just sit down and do it.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Let's go over to Carly. What is your take on this?
Yeah, I think for beauty, what's so challenging is that, and I kind of teased this in the intro, so many things are hard to recycle. So when we talk about hard to recycle, the 3 points that I like to hit are, first, size. When we talk about beauty, anything that's smaller than a fist or a yogurt cup is not getting collected through the disc screens at a MRF or a material recovery facility. So that's one impact. And so if you think about any small caps, travel size, you name it, it's a lot of beauty. The other thing is that beauty is leveraging a lot of low value material, specifically plastic. It's really hard for us to find a buyer or someone who wants to reuse this material because it's just not worth it, right? It's cheaper to go get virgin material, or it's hard to deal with material and they don't want to manage it and work with it. So I think that's another piece. And then the last one is mixed material, which I think is like the biggest player here. If you think of a pump could have 3 different plastic types, a metal spring. If you think of a compact, there's a mirror, there's, screws, there's all sorts of pieces and elements that make this challenging. But to really help with the complexities, I would say education. I think it comes down to educating the staff that's running the program and the team that's running the program, to educating customers to understand how they can interact with the program, specifically for ours, since it's customer facing. I mean, it is complex, don't get me wrong, and I know we'll probably dive into the complexity of recycling, but we need to figure out ways to make this easy. And it comes through education, it comes through unifying across the industry with one way to recycle these hard to recycle materials. So you don't go into retailers and there's a different way to do it each time. We need to let go of our silos, come together, and really have a single unified solution to push forward so customers understand and can easily participate.
Thank you for that. And that's the beautiful thing about what's happening here today, right? Coming together and everything that each of you are doing in the background to really bring all of this together and educate and bring an easier solution. So thank you. Marian, what would you like to add in there?
Well, I think, looking at the challenge regarding recycling or our recycling program, I would think the compliance aspect, navigating regulation, not only for small brands, but also for big corporations, these ones that have, a whole sustainability department. It also represents a challenge for these actors within the industry. And I want to kind of, to what Sarah mentioned, building the sustainability plan. Yes, just sit down and do it. And whenever I touch on that, I think, yes, set your goals, but also think about your resources and then the feasibility of those goals. Extremely important. And then you can take from a challenge to an opportunity. And the last thing I say to people when I talk about, a sustainability plan is this sustainability plan will later be your sustainability story. You are building a sustainability story about, how you create a product and about the end life of that product. So think about that aspect because you want a transparent story. You want a story that is that drives people to follow, to educate, to empower, and you want a story that is real about your product. So many challenges. There could be many challenges around this, but there are also several opportunities out there.
That's so great, Marian. And concerning, the story of it, which I absolutely love, there were times when I forgot who I was and what I was doing. So that's why I put the two E's in my name, so I can remember that I stand for the environment and everyone. And people just literally, I can ask anyone what the two E's stand for, and they know this. So when they walk into my salon or any business that I own, when they come to my social media page, they know that number one, I'm championing environmental sustainability and protection. And then I'm doing that because I care about everyone who lives on planet Earth. So that's great, Marian. Thank you for all of your answers. I'm going to invite Marian to answer first, but I have a question that kind of goes along in the same vein. Could you provide examples of innovative solutions or projects that you have implemented to address these sustainability challenges for salons and people in the beauty industry?
Of course, of course. Look, at G2, we're big on innovation. We have a huge sign at the front of our door that says "Innovate or Go Home." So that speaks to a lot, about what that we need to always strive for the next sustainability solution, always strive for the next step. And I think one important innovation that I would like to share is the recycling of liquid foundation. That is something that our team has worked so hard on. And I'm going to tell you something. On an average, between all of our beauty clients, G2 received 500,000 pounds of liquid foundation. And before, this is a material that was put through a waste to energy process. And again, through time, through building volume, through acquiring partnerships, through understanding, hand touching the material and understanding the complexity of it, we were able to develop a full recycling solution. And I'm talking about we recycle the packaging and we recycle the content, the liquid. So again, it speaks a lot about a sustainability story. It speaks a lot about you can start a landfill diversion program, having one solution and then evolve into another one. So yeah, liquid foundation is a big one for G2.
That's so awesome. Jacqueline, did you have a follow-up? I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I was just saying that's so amazing. I find that fascinating that's the type of work because we don't even know what goes on behind the scenes of when we're throwing things away or when we're recycling them, the level of complexity it is. And I know because I've had to teach my family, like, hey, you don't just throw this in the recycling because it's not going to do anything. So getting even that deep with the contents and the foundation. I mean, so many people throw things away and don't even realize. So that's fascinating. I love it.
Definitely, definitely. And we're not only talking about, this product that has already been used by a consumer. We're talking about back of the house products, products that have expired and can no longer be sold. So, sustainability is throughout your whole supply chain. You just need to find the right partner, set the right goals, and look at your resources to build a sustainability story.
And that's why I'm always coaching to the climate shadow and not necessarily carbon neutrality or any individual part, because every decision, every product, every action that we take has an impact, some positive and some negative. So we just have to be mindful, but not overwhelmed when we're thinking about our climate shadow. So let me move it over to Carly. Which innovative technologies or solutions has your company been able to achieve?
Yeah, so I'm super excited to share. We just launched a new initiative called New Matter, and it is our take on actually collecting the material through our hard to recycle beauty collection programs and creating a material that can be used back in beauty again. So giving this material a full circular solution and approach. So I'll kind of flash this on my screen, but here is the material type. It is 100% recycled PP. So some of this material is from our collection program, but we also consolidated with ocean-bound plastic. So it's really important for us to have scalable solutions that drive the content of PCR, or post-consumer recycled content, for our members. That is the biggest tip. I know we're going to talk a lot about what can you all do, but PCR and driving the demand for recycling is going to help all three of us do our job. It helps us to increase the value of this recycled content, so we get recycling rates up. And so with this, we partnered with Credo Beauty. Here is the pump in real life. So it was made from this material, turned into a beauty pump. This pump is 84% recycled content of this material. So that is a huge PCR content. It's very difficult to do that. Another thing I want to highlight that's awesome about this pump is that it is mono material. So when we're looking at pumps, like I kind of mentioned in the beginning, a pump can have a metallized spring. It could have different types of material. This is 100% PP. So this is something that it's small. Yes, I will give you that. So it does have to go back into the PACT bin. But what's great about the PACT bin is that we can collect this, recycle it, and give it a new life, maybe one day as another pump. Or just as a resin that we can sell to the beauty industry. So really trying to show that circularity is possible. We're planning on expanding this. So it's not just resin, but we're looking at creating our PACT bin completely out of the material that we collect, textiles. So you name it, we want people to come to the table and use this material and how they see fit and how they would want it for beauty.
That's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm hoping that that catches like wildfire across the beauty industry and all industries, because that is innovation that I believe that we need. Thank you so much, Carly. I'm going to finish up with Sarah from Green Circle Salons. Can you share innovative solutions or technologies that GCS is coming up with?
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's, again, part of what makes working at Green Circle so exciting. I'm certainly not the brains behind these operations, but I'll take credit while I'm on this webinar. But one innovation that I think is so cool, we've actually created 2 combs. So we have a tail comb and a cutting comb. And these are made with Green Circle Salons waste. So our members have sent us shampoo bottles, hair, all kinds of things. And we've taken that material and created a comb out of it that's heat resistant. It's functional. It's got like a really nice, you can see here, for parting and stuff. Just a really cool product. And the thing I love most about this is when clients go, what do you mean you're recycling hair? Like, what does that look like? And the client can actually interact and touch and feel something that's made with salon material. I need to give credit to John DeMauro, who is our director of circularity. He is a stylist, salon owner, and the most out-of-the-box thinker you've probably ever come across in your life. To be able to create something like this, it is really unique and very, very special. Our salons get a kick out of it. The clients get a kick out of it. And they're exclusive to Green Circle Salon members, which is really, really cool. This is one of many, by the way. So this is just like, I mean, we've got lots of cool things coming down the pipeline, but this is probably my favorite and most exciting. And if you go to our Instagram, you can actually see a video of how they're made, which is pretty cool too.
I love that. When I saw the combs debuted, my jaw hit the floor and I was like, that is so innovative and such a cool, not only product for use in the beauty industry, but just like you said, out of the box thinking. Who would have ever thought?
Totally. And if I can just add to that, there's something to be said too, because, and these are things that when you get into the touching and the feeling of the material, shampoo and conditioner bottles are a type of plastic. They're called blow mold plastics. So they're plastics that are very squishy, right? Like you need to be able to like condense them and squish them in order to get material out. So you can imagine to create something that has the rigidity to allow you to comb through hair, but is made from something that's so soft and squishy. I mean, that's partly where the hair comes into play, because it does offer that rigidity. Hair's incredibly strong. And so putting those materials together has been, I mean, it's so cool.
Thank you so much, all three of you, for sharing those innovative technologies. I'm going to pass it back to Jacqueline, and Sarah will keep you here to answer the next question.
So the next question is, what are the most common misconceptions about recycling in the beauty industry, and what work do you think needs to be done to correct them?
I have two here. One is that things aren't getting recycled, and things are getting recycled, but we need to be very aware of our municipalities' recycling guidelines. If you are not aware, that information is very easily available. Just Google your city and then put recycling guidelines, because you would be surprised at what you cannot recycle. And you would also be surprised at the contamination you're contributing to by not knowing those guidelines. So when people say nothing gets recycled anyway, it does when it's done properly, and it does when we're aware and we're using, the resources we have available. So that's one. And then the other thing I would say is that one person's impact isn't enough. Like, we often think, like, what could I possibly do? And I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later as well. But I would challenge that thinking, because the truth of the matter is, an individual's impact is the only thing that has ever made change ever. If you think about it, any change that has ever happened has been individuals repeating an activity several times. So if you do that with recycling, it has a tremendous impact. Yeah.
Carly, I would love to get your opinion on this as well.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to piggyback off of what Sarah mentioned. What drives me crazy is when people are like, recycling is broken. And I think that if you look at all the stats flying around, I think that that's probably what I would say, right? If I wasn't in the space. We see only 9% of plastics recycled. I just saw 5%. And I think we really need to, like, if we say recycling is broken, then you're making the assumption that it was once working. And it never really has. Right? I think that this is an industry that has never received adequate funding, has been neglected, people included. It has been fragmented, and I just don't think it has ever been infused with innovation and disruption. It is something that we are coming closer to that tipping point, which I'm really excited with some new policy. I think we'll talk a little bit more, mostly around extended producer responsibility. So what this policy, it's now passed in 5 states, is saying is that the brands who are making the packaging decisions now have to pay a fee based on how much packaging is going out into the world. So now we have a system that is not funded by taxpayer dollars. It is now funded by the people making the decisions who should take responsibility for ensuring that we have adequate infrastructure, people are getting taken care of, and that we have a system that's thriving. So I think that this is something that when we see these stats, I totally understand why people come to this conclusion. But we really need to think about this and step back and say, it is working. There are material types where this is working, and we need to expand why it's working for those material types and invest in these city-owned MRFs across the country where they are struggling to figure out how to do this. And it's not their fault. We can't blame it just on the recyclers. So I always get on my soapbox about this because I'm so passionate about it. It's writing off a system that doesn't really have a voice in a lot of these conversations. And so please be cautious of using that. It is not broken. We need to invest in it. We need to ask the hard questions. We need to support programs like the 3 of us are doing to make sure we can boost the recycling rates. But even that, it's not going to be enough. So the next phase is looking at reuse, refill, which I'm sure we'll talk more about. But still, I just writing off and throwing things to the landfill is not the solution. And you saying that is going to make that more apparent. And I think that this is such a problem.
That is so important to like really look at the different steps from everybody coming in, and that the things are working and more voices to it. So I thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and all three of you, right? And last, I would love to hear, Marian, what is your opinion on all of this?
Look, I definitely agree with Sarah and Carly. I think being in the industry, you face these misconceptions all the time, either, at small conversations with a friend or maybe at a trade show, meeting people. So I definitely agree with you guys. I think something that I've also heard many times is that recycling is too time consuming. That's why I don't do it. I think that's inaccurate. I think if you find the right partner, if you understand what are your business goals, if you're a salon, there's an option for you. If you're a consumer, there is an option for you. If you're a distributor or a manufacturer or retailer, there is an option for you. So yes, it can be time consuming depending on the approach that you use. But right now, there are many companies such as, us doing innovation and making recycling possible, feasible, maybe cost effective for many companies. So yes, I think fighting that misconception is very important too. And again, to piggyback of what Sarah mentioned, when I hear that small brands cannot make an impact, I feel like that's the one that gets me the most. Because again, that cannot be true. There are amazing small brands that have sustainability embedded within their values, and everything that they do is around sustainability, packaging, marketing, going to the consumers. Everything is about sustainability. So yes, you can be a very, very small brand. You can be at your house just planning right now how to become a brand owner, and you can be making an impact within the sustainability industry.
Mikey, did you want to ask the next question?
Well, yes, and I believe that there are statistics that align with everything that you all said in terms of consumers are now shifting towards businesses that are championing the causes that you just mentioned. They want to see us recycling. They want to see us choosing proper packaging and products, and see us closing the loop. So that was so great. I'm so proud of all of you. We talked a little bit about the negative attitudes and expressions out there. Let's shift, because I know when I started in this industry in 2010 in beauty school and started my own salon in 2013, this was not super mainstream. I don't know that it's quite mainstream yet, but we are, as Carly said, on that tipping point where we're just about there. So let's talk about some of the changes positively that you've seen, Marian, from people who might have started negative and are shifting, or people who are super positive about the eco-friendly initiatives in this industry.
Definitely. Look, I think maybe sustainability at one point was perceived as a secondary concern, not only for the beauty and cosmetic industry, but for other industries. And when you put sustainability, maybe there were some other business priorities that were more important. But I believe that that has shifted, and it's changing, every day. And most of the factors that have driven this shift, it might be, peer pressure, partnerships, um, consumer demands. Consumers are becoming way more educated about ingredients, about what carbon neutral means, about how can I recycle, this pump, how can I recycle this foundation, what do I do when my, I don't know, blush breaks, all of these things. So I think those factors are driving industries, and again, not only the beauty and cosmetic industry, but so many others, to understand that sustainability is a must, that you need to create products with sustainability in mind. And also, I like that sustainability is now being perceived by some not only important when it comes to the environment, but it has also become important when it comes to values, to ethic, to moral, and to what a company envisions as a for social responsibility. So yes, it's definitely changing, and I think it's very positive. I think every day there are more actors that are championing for sustainability, and every day there are more companies that are trying to get on that wave too.
Thank you, Marian. Sarah, I'm going to pass it over to you. And I'd love your unique perspective for motherhood in this as well. Do you know other mothers who are, uh, super excited for sustainability and eco-friendliness?
I'm going to actually just tell you a quick little story, if that's okay, totally tied into motherhood. But as I mentioned, I have 2 little boys, and they'll constantly come up to me and say, like, Mom, I can't find my Lego, whatever, insert toy here. And that's followed by, it's gone. And I say to them, it's not gone. It's somewhere. We're going to find it. It didn't disappear. Let's go look for it. And it's because children haven't developed this concept of object permanence, which is when something is out of sight, it's out of mind. And we find it really amusing and comical about children. We see toddlers, when they play hide and seek, they'll just stand there covering their eyes because they think, you can't see me, I can't see you. We can pull coins out of their ears. Like, it's amusing to us. And then week after week, we put our trash on the curb and it's gone. And I think more and more people are starting to recognize that it is not, in fact, gone, that it does continue to live on. And I'd like to reduce that. And so what we're seeing is this shift, as Marian mentioned as well, in consumers demanding this type of thing. There was a time when you'd walk into the grocery store and your options were whatever they had, where now your options are post-consumer recycled. And that's right on the packaging. They're advertising that, and they're doing it because consumers are demanding it. We know we did a study with Bobbit Media and learned that 84% of clients care about a salon's environmental impact. So why wouldn't you, recycle and manage all of the different pieces that you can manage in something that was built for a busy salon with limited space and limited time and limited resources, right? So I think, I definitely think more people are just aware and really truly feeling that impact and wanting to not contribute negatively. So I think that's what kind of is pushing it more.
I don't know if I could have received a fresher, more relevant perspective than that. Thank you so much, Sarah. And now I'm going to pass it over to Carly. What is your perception, if you will, of changing attitudes towards eco-friendliness and sustainability?
We have momentum. Finally, I'm so excited. I think that this feels like a really good time for beauty. We have the policy that I broke down. There's other policies, truth in recycling, SB 343, not to go like all nerdy on you, but there's a lot happening on a policy side that is going to push and accelerate change quickly. We also have, like both panelists touched on, customers are educated and they're asking the hard questions. They're curious. They're really trying to get more involved in their favorite brand's sustainable journeys. And I think that is something that is new onto the scene, and really exciting to see this like curiosity that's been happening over the years. And then lastly, from from a retailer side, we're also seeing retailers step into the game and have, sustainability frameworks that some of these brands have to follow to sell at those retail locations. So I think that we're kind of getting pressure from partnerships and peers to the policy level to customers. And I'm hoping that this is this perfect storm that kind of accelerates some of this change. And I'm really excited for it. It feels like a really optimistic time. The other thing I will mention too that is really exciting about circularity and waste in general is no matter where you're on the political spectrum, everyone can really get behind waste. We don't want litter in our yard. We don't want to see trash everywhere. And so I think that's what really motivates me behind this, is that you can approach this from so many different angles. You can approach this from, the sustainability side to, we should figure out a better way to process this trash so it's not sitting in a landfill. You can look at it from oceans. There's so many pieces to this that really are helping, like even these EPR policies, extended producer responsibility. Everyone has a different take on why that's important to them. Some people want to privatize recycling, where others are like, these suppliers or these producers really step to the plate and pay for this. So it's a very interesting niche within sustainability that I'm excited about, because it's really bringing all sorts of people to the table on this, kind of unified goal.
Oh, thank you, Carly. That was a great way to, sum up all the positive shifting of attitudes, and it's been coming up. So I don't think there's any coincidences. I've been on a few podcasts and recordings lately, and I always tell everyone that the environment is number one, because I know in the U.S. we just had a hectic political season. There's all kinds of laws and emotions and everything, but I champion the environment, and it's the number one E in my name, Mikey with two E's, because we can't argue over politics. We can't go to the moon. We can't build buildings. We can't do anything without an environment. So that's why it's always number one. Once we take care of the environment, then we can deal with all the other complex issues that are out there. So thank you for bringing that up. I know that we have a wealth of information to pry out of you all, but we're coming to our wrap up time. Before we wrap it up and let everyone know where they can find you to ask their follow up questions, Jacqueline and I have some rapid fire questions. This is a first here for our GBC live productions. So we're going to just keep you all where you're at here and ask you a few questions. And we'll go Marian, Carly, and Sarah, and we'll get your answers. So I'll go first. What is your favorite sustainable brand or brands? Marian?
I have so many, but I'm gonna stick to one that I use daily. Is Pros. It's a hair care brand. They are B Corp, carbon neutral. You can custom made all the ingredients. Love it. Amazing. Check it out.
Awesome. We'll go to Carly.
I'm really liking Plain Products right now. They are a reusable company. So metal kind of containers for your shampoo, conditioner, hair products that when you're done using it, you send it back, they sanitize it, refill it with product, and then continue the circulation. So a really good model of how we can implement more reuse into beauty.
Thank you so much, Carly. Sarah, how about you?
I've got two, if that's okay. One is Dr. Bronner's magic soaps. The Castile soaps are fabulous. They're concentrated, so you can even buy the large size. I'm all about as little packaging as possible with that respect. And their bars are incredible. Every ingredient has a story. The story is written all over the label. So I love Dr. Bronner's. And then my second one is Nellie's. They make laundry detergent and this product called 99 as well. Both are just phenomenal. And again, I have two little boys. So if Nellie's laundry detergent is cutting it for me, it will certainly cut it for you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll do it again. Marian, Carly, Sarah. Jacqueline, what's your rapid fire question?
My rapid fire question is, what is or are your favorite sustainability hacks? Top 3.
Okay, top 3. I think I always carry a reusable bag with me. Doesn't matter the size of my purse. My car and my purse always have 2 or 3 reusable bags, and people make fun of me a lot for that. Reusable water bottle that never fails, and I think those two, reusable water bottle and the bag, always with me.
Perfect. Carly?
I would say think about your traveling. I have been traveling like a crazy person to sustainability conferences, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I traveling across the country to talk about sustainability? This isn't very sustainable. So I always, if I have to go somewhere, I stack that trip with as much as I possibly can. Visit a MRF, like Sarah mentioned, go to your recycling facility in different areas, take meetings. And so that's one thing. Be curious, ask your favorite brands questions. And I think even if, and let's say you're on the brand side, be open to just sharing where you're currently at. I think no one has all the answers. We wouldn't have this conversation if we had this figured out, right? So just be, authentic, ask questions, have answers that are authentic. We're all humans. We're all trying to figure this out. And then lastly, make your stuff. I'm getting into candle making and reusing pot or cups that I have around the house into candles. And I think coming back to, making things ourselves rather than buying them.
Ah, so good. So good. Sarah, what about you?
When we talk about the 3 R's, most people know the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. What you may not know is it has to happen in that order. First you reduce, then you reuse, and then you recycle. So my three are more probably transferable to the home. One, opt for less packaging. Use your refillery. If you have a local refillery, they are phenomenal. You can get your hand soaps, if you use shampoos, dish soaps, all kinds of stuff. Refillery or as little packaging as possible. Bar soap versus liquid soaps, that type of thing. Meal plan. And I don't mean meal prep, although Mike with 2 E's, you may like the meal prep. I like the meal plan. We want to make sure we're not overbuying food that we're just going to compost. Don't walk into the store without a plan. You have to have your plan. You got to know your plan. Rollover meals are also great so that you're taking ingredients that you've prepped the day before and you can make, tacos one night turn into chili the next night. So definitely meal planning and reducing food waste. And then any opportunity you have to swap a disposable for a reusable. We ditched cling film and single-use plastics in my house a few years ago. And at first it was like my instinct to find that kicked in, and it was immediately like solution. Okay, I got glass Pyrex, it's going in there. And it works. So any opportunity you have to swap disposable to reusable is going to be hugely impactful.
So good.
Those were amazing. Yeah, those were amazing. And luckily I was going through and I was like, is this a hack for me? And I am doing all of those hacks. So hopefully we can inspire everyone else to start, hacking their life into sustainability and eco-friendliness. I want to, before we leave, get everyone's information. So Sarah, you're here in the middle with me already. Where can we find you? Where can we find Green Circle? And how can we contact you after?
Definitely follow Green Circle on Instagram. So at Green Circle Salons, it's not just us saying things. We have tons of user generated content. So our members are actually posting and tagging us. So you can get their accounts of what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it. If you want to follow me, I'm at Sarah, sarah.is.sustainable. You can find me on Instagram there. Or via email at sbabington@greencirclesalons.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for representing Green Circle Salons today. I'm going to move over to Marian from G2 Revolution. How can we find you or contact G2 if we want to?
Of course. Well, you can find us on social media as G2 Revolution, or you can contact our team at hello@g2revolution.com. And if you want to follow me and see some behind the scenes, you can follow me on Instagram at Marian Recycles.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And last but certainly not least, we'll move over to Carly from PACT Collective. How can we find you or contact PACT after this webinar?
Yeah, come and visit our website. It's pactcollective.org. We're also really active on Instagram. And then I'm on LinkedIn. But now listening to this, I really need to pick up my game and get on Instagram. So look out for my Instagram coming soon. You've inspired me. But yeah, LinkedIn and then our website for more information. But we would love to have anyone on the call to be either a member or a follower of what we're doing. So thank you.
I love that so much. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Carly. Thank you, Marian. And thank you to the companies that you're representing. For those who weren't here at the beginning, our one announcement was our sincere ask is every time we love bringing these webinars to you. And we want to keep doing that in the future. We'd love to have these esteemed guests back on for episode 2 at some point. So to do that, we are going to ask. Giving Tuesday is coming up December 3rd. Feel free to reach out to thegreenbeautycommunity.com for our donation link. It will also be linked here in our audience chat and in the show notes anywhere that you're watching the replay. Feel free to give generously. That way we can keep providing this immense value. Jacqueline, where can we find you after the series?
You can find me everywhere at Clean Beauty Biz Coach. And yeah, just Instagram's where I hang out the most.
Awesome. And definitely check out the podcast from Jacqueline and the Green Beauty community. I'm at Metro Mikey with 2 E's, of course, on all platforms. And I'm here representing the Green Beauty community. You can find us on Instagram at Green Beauty Community Foundation or all the other platforms at Green Beauty Community. So thank you all for spending your time. We know it is our most valuable resource. We appreciate all of you. And we hope you have a wonderful and sustainable rest of your day. Thank you all. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was
you guys, this was seriously the best panel ever. Like, thank you so much for all being here.
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
I'm so glad it felt good.
Oh, the audience hears all unmuted speakers.
Yeah, can you